by the Swedish Energy Agency and NineSigma. My name is Jonathan Yaksha, and I'll be your host and moderator for this webinar. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be transcribed for viewing at a later date. To begin, I'll briefly go through today's agenda. I'll start by providing introductions for our speakers, who will then share the details of this contest. After that, we'll present some frequently asked questions and then work through a live question and answer session. To participate in the live Q&A, please submit your questions at any time during the webinar through the Q&A chat box. We'll collect and present your questions during the Q&A section of today's webinar. If we're unable to answer your question live, we'll transcribe and answer all questions asked today and post them on the contest form for viewing at a later date. We'll conclude today's webinar with information on what you can do for the Intelligent Energy and Innovation Contest, including where to register, how to stay connected, and how to submit your proposal. Now, I'm pleased to welcome the following speakers to our webinar this morning. First, we have Charlotte Leon, Head of Procurement for the Swedish Energy Agency. We have Per Ekström, Project Leader for the Municipality of Eskiltuna, Sweden. And unfortunately, Hans was not able to join us today, so we have Simon Strande and Maria Safström, who will be representing Uppsala, Sweden. And from NineSigma, we have Raphael Passett, PhD, Senior Program Director, NineSigma Europe. The topic of today's webinar is Intelligent Energy Management. NineSigma, representing the Swedish Energy Agency, together with the Swedish municipalities of Eskiltuna and Uppsala, seek submissions for intelligent energy management solutions that manage the energy infrastructure of buildings in order to increase the self-consumption of produced solar energy. And now we'll hear from Charlotte, presenting Swedish Energy's vision for this challenge.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan. I will start by saying I'm happy that there are so many that joined this webinar and showing interest in our innovation contest, Intelligent Energy Management. And my name is Charlotte Leon, and I'm Head of Procurement at the Swedish Energy Agency. The Swedish Energy Agency supports and facilitates the development of sustainable energy systems. And a challenge from Sweden is an initiative where we bundle need and capacity to invest from several public organizations. The aim is to facilitate for public organizations to invest in innovative solutions that facilitate the transition towards a sustainable energy system. At the same time, make it more attractive for solution providers to join the innovation contest and meet the need criteria. And after what happens when the competition is over? Well, the competition closes in February, and after the announcement of the winners in April, a negotiation will follow with all or some of the winners about the possibility to conduct pilot projects in the participating municipalities. And we hope to add more sponsors of municipalities before the 2nd of February in order to increase the effect of the initiative, as well as make it more attractive to join the contest.
Great.
And for the sorry, okay.
Go ahead, Charlotte.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Thank you. And after that, for the period 2017 to 2020, we would like to see an even greater potential for the effects of this initiative. And the sponsors of municipalities, if the pilot projects are successful, aims at follow up with procurement to invest in one or of the innovative solutions. And we will also follow up with best practice examples and publish these examples on the website of the National Procurement Agency. And possibly there will also be other events where winners of the contest will be able to present their solutions together with the sponsors regarding their pilot project. But we will get back to you with more information later in the project about this. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Charlotte. NineSigma's Raphael Passett will now share the technical aims for this contest. Raphael?
Yes. So let me explain what we want to achieve with this competition, with this contest. So we have two municipalities who have buildings at their in their municipalities. So it's Eskiltuna and Uppsala, and these buildings have electricity infrastructure consisting of different elements like solar cells, devices that consume electricity, which can be shifted in time, and storage devices, which could be the permanent storage devices in the building facilities, but also temporary storage devices like electric cars. What we want to achieve is to consume as much as possible of the solar energy, and we want to do that by looking for an intelligent energy management system to control the devices in the buildings. So there's a couple of things that this energy management system can do. So first of all, there's the energy consumption devices, which can be controlled to switch on and off at a later time. So to make sure that they are consuming when there is sufficient solar energy. Then there are the charging, the energy storage devices, the permanent ones, already in the building, and additional ones which can be installed later, for which the charging levels can be controlled. And of course, there's also the electric cars, which also have an energy storage capacity, and they can be used as well. The charging levels can be controlled. Important is to guarantee that when the electric cars are needed, that there is sufficient energy in the cars. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Raphael. And now we'll hear from details of the various municipalities, beginning with Simone and Maria talking about Uppsala. Maria, Simone?
Yes, hello, Maria here from I-hus, or I-house, however you want to pronounce it, from Uppsala. And I'll just say that I'm very happy that we can be a part of this event, this competition. I'm very excited about that. And we're a municipal real estate company with about 200,000 square meters of industrial buildings. And what you see on the picture there is one of our industrial areas where we focus on solar energy and energy management and really testing different sorts of new energy systems. So we're very excited to be a part of this. Simon, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I'm going to just briefly go through the details of this area concerning the electricity production. All this information can be found at the website as well. But just briefly, there's basically two different needs here at Eskiltuna regarding two buildings at this site. And you can see the buildings on your screen in front of you. It's building A and building B, and it's quite similar, but also different tasks at hand with these two buildings. So building A is connected to a solar tracker, and the electricity that's being produced is first and foremost used in the building, but there is some surplus electricity that is being exported to the grid. And this excess varies over the year and time of day, depending on the production of the PV system, but also the electricity used in the building. And in building A, there is also an existing battery storage system. And this system is currently being used, but the existing control system for the energy storage needs to be improved. And also, during next year, there will be a small wind turbine installed at this site. And the wind turbine will also be connected to building A and the existing battery storage system. So the need or the task at hand is to design a smart control system for the energy system in building A. And this should be based on the consumption profile of the electricity use in the building, the existing solar tracker system, the existing battery storage system, and also the possibility to integrate the wind turbine next year. This system should be designed to produce the best possible operating economy for EUs. And that includes taking into consideration the existing tariff structures of the local DSO, and in this case it's a Vattenfall, and also the tariff structure for electricity prices, as well as the possibility for peak shaving or shifting to maximize the economy in this. So that's basically the case for building A. And then there's also another building called building B. On this building, EUS has installed a PV system on the facade of the building. I think you can actually see the system in the pictures in front of you. It's a small black square. And this system also produces some surplus that is currently being sold to the grid. And this is the main problem here. So the task regarding building B is to optimize the use of this electricity surplus. And this may entail some sort of energy storage, but we are open to all kinds of different solutions. And also, as with the task concerning building A, the optimization of the surplus electricity should be done in such a way that it permits the best operating economy for EUs, but also, at this task, the best possible environmental profile for this task. So I think I've covered all the basics, so thank you.
Great, thank you, Maria, thank you, Simon. Now we'll proceed to Eskiltuna, and Per will talk about the needs there.
Thank you. You can see on the picture is a school for that we have a rather big installation of solar panels on the roof and a surplus of electricity going out to the grid, exporting to the grid. When we started our investing in solar power in Eskiltuna, there was some kind of education profiling that we should tell young people what we are doing in this area. So they were localized to schools, and that's a little bit a problem in Sweden because we have a very long summer vacation. So when the production is on top, there is very low use in the building, in the education and the lighting and that kind of stuff. So we want to optimize to have as lot as possible to internal use in the school areas. But we also have other installations we have a fire station and we have elderly care institutions that they are more 24-hour operating all over the year. They have also need for having a good system. They have system for uninterruptible power supply for taking care of lighting and to taking care of alarm systems and that kind of stuff. So that's why we are asking for having a management system and just not a storage solution. So the intelligent system should be possible to configure for different needs due to what's kind of what you have to run in that inside that building. And it should be very intuitive and simple solution for ordinary maintenance people to take care of, not just specialists. Well, I think I stop there.
Great, thank you, Per. I would just like to reiterate to our attendees that this is an excellent opportunity for you to ask questions directly to the NineSigma staff, but also to the Swedish Energy representatives here about your proposals, about how to proceed, and I would strongly encourage you to avail yourself of this opportunity. Moving on, Raphael, could you please tell us the objective of this contest overall?
Yeah, so if you look at the objective and the price strategy of this contest, So once we have all the proposals in, we will select a shortlist of 8 proposals, and they will be selected as finalists. And these finalists, these proposals, will be invited to present what their approach and to do a Q&A with the review panel. And this review panel will consist of the municipalities and of the people from the Swedish Energy Agency. And the proposal will be evaluated in terms of technical but also business development parameters. Of these 8 finalists, 4, the best 4, up to 4, will be awarded a recognition award, which is up to 10,000 euros each. And award-winning proposals can be invited to negotiate pilot projects with the participating municipalities. And these pilot projects can be up to 50,000 euros each, and will start at the end of the competition. Last but not least, successful pilot projects can lead to supply negotiation for installations, intelligent energy management system installations, and with the participating Swedish municipalities. And the budget is up to 2.8 million euros for the whole period of 2016 till 2020.
Great, thank you, Rafael. And now, if you could you please share with us the timeline and criteria for this?
Yes. So the deadline when the proposals have to be in is on February the 2nd next year. It's a hard deadline. That's when all the proposals have to be in. And after that, the evaluation will start. So in February, the evaluation will start, and the finalists are selected. In March, beginning of April, we will organize the finals, and the announcement of the recognition winners will be on the 30th of April. That's when the contest ends, but that's also the start for negotiating the pilot project, which the intention is to have them starting in next year in 2016. So if you look at what's important, so what are the key success criteria? So first of all, the proposals, the energy management system has to be compatible with the current energy infrastructure in the buildings of the 2 municipalities, and this compatibility can be expressed into several parameters like the installed solar capacity of the buildings, the average energy consumption on a yearly basis, and of course the total number of cars, electric vehicles that can be connected and disconnected to the system, and also the storage capacity, which is currently in some of the facilities available as well. So that's the first part, the compatibility with the existing infrastructure. Second part is the user benefit. So it has to be an attractive business model in terms of investment and yield or revenue. It's important, as stated by Per, that it can be operated by non-experts remotely, and solutions that are providing additional benefits will be at an advantage. And additional benefits could be, for instance, what was also mentioned, the possibility to have a backup supply in case that the grid goes down, or other types of benefits that are related to the energy infrastructure. Upgradability is an important aspect. So proposals that can be upgraded over time by means of for instance, a software update to add new services will be an advantage. And we expect that the lifetime is about 10 years or more for the hardware. Software updates can be done, and as stated before, we would like to have the pilot projects starting in 2016, so in next year. So this is in a nutshell. You can find more information on the requirements of the different municipalities on the website.
So, Rafael, can you tell us why should our solution providers be interested in responding to this project?
Sure. There's a couple of reasons. First of all, this is a non-confidential contest, which means that you don't have to share any confidential information. In fact, you're not allowed to share any confidential information. And the advantage of that is that you will keep your intellectual property. So by submitting a proposal, you're not giving away any license whatsoever. So that's all part of, the negotiations about the license is something that will come at a later stage, so after the contest is completed. So in this contest, you maintain your intellectual property, you do not give away any license. There is the opportunity to present your technology and to interact with the Swedish municipalities during the finals. That's very valuable. You get feedback on your proposals. This opportunity for winning recognition awards up to 10,000 euros, and there's a possibility to engage in pilot projects, which can go up to €1 per Swedish municipality. And last but not least, there's also, as stated before, there's possibility to win supplier contract for a significant investment budget of 2.8 million euros till 2020. And not mentioned on this slide, but this is an excellent way to showcase your technology in Sweden. And we know that this initiative is currently being monitored by other municipalities as well. So having a successful project here will provide you lots of opportunities in Sweden as well.
Thank you, Raphael. As we proceed to the next phase of today's webinar, I would like to reiterate to our attendees that you can submit your questions at any time using the Q&A chat box. We'll keep a list of all of the questions that are asked, and when we get to our question and answer portion of today's webinar, we'll begin going through those questions. Right now, however, we're going to proceed with the frequently asked questions. These are questions that have either come into the NineSigma Provider Help Desk or are generally asked about our projects. First off, Raphael, the first question is, I'm not sure my approach is within scope for this challenge. How can I get guidance?
So, excellent question. There's a couple of ways to get guidance. So first of all, you can pick up the phone and call the Solution Provider Help Desk of NineSigma in Cleveland. You can send an email with the question, and you can also post the question on the forum. So on the website, there's a forum, and if you post a question, then I will take care of answering your question in that forum personally. So there's 3 ways, and my advice is if you have any questions on whether your proposal is suited or the way you should focus your proposal, just reach out so that we can make sure that your proposal is as good as possible.
Okay. The second question, what is the deadline to submit a proposal?
Deadline is on the 2nd of February. It's a hard deadline. You can upload your proposal, review it, and change it as often as you want. But the final proposal is a proposal which has been uploaded at the 2nd of February 2016.
Okay, thank you. If I'm selected as a finalist, do I have to sign anything before the technology presentation to the evaluation team?
This is an important question. It's also related to IP. That's not the case, so there's nothing to be signed. Also, the finals are to be of a non-confidential nature, which means that no confidential information is to be shared. So you're not providing a license to your IP. You're maintaining all your intellectual property also at the finals. It's after the awarding, where you start discussing about the pilot project. That's the moment where you sit with the municipalities, and when you discuss on the, so first step is to sign an NDA and then take it from there.
Okay, and we have one more frequently asked question for you, Raphael. If I'm one of the winners, do I have to spend the 10,000 euros on technology development?
No. So the recognition award is money that you can spend on the way you like. Of course, if you invest it in your technology to make it even better, that will be of your benefit.
Great. Thank you, Raphael. We'll now proceed to the question and answer portion of today's webinar. I'd like to reiterate one more time to our attendees This is an excellent opportunity to pose your questions directly to representatives from the 2 Swedish municipalities, as well as the Swedish Energy Agency and to NineSigma. You would do well to put your questions to the panelists today and get them answered promptly. At this time, I'll turn it over to Raphael to begin the questions. Raphael?
Yes, I have a couple of questions here. The first one is for Simon. So you mentioned that you have 2 buildings, building A and building B. The question is it possible to share energy between the 2 buildings?
Yes, in theory it is, but the buildings are not connected, so I would say no to that, actually. There's no possibility for that today.
Okay. Another question is that, the question is, I understand that you have a solar energy surplus. How much is that surplus? Can you quantify the surplus of energy, solar energy? So this could be either Simon or Per.
So, of course we can, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. Maybe Per, do you answer that?
No, I don't have the numbers either. But when they were planning this installation, they tried to keep below 15% surplus. But I have not have the opportunity to follow up that because we have some problems with metering of the systems. That's have been delayed the installation of the metering system.
Okay, so what we will do is we will look up those questions and we will post them on the forum. Those we will answer them on the forum. So so you just mentioned the meter network. So will the municipality be controlling? So how do you have a smart meter network installed in your service area? So Per, can you answer that?
As I mentioned, we have there are under installation a smart metering system to following up the production, and we have a metering system connected to the building that we can have figures from hourly based metering.
Okay.
Yes, and it's quite similar in Uppsala as well. There is some data, you can get data from production, also energy consumption on the hour right now, but also we have meters for more detailed information, but we haven't gotten them to work in a system yet.
Okay. Next question. So are you looking for ideas and solutions from foreign countries, like for instance USA? My impression is Sweden is a technology developed country. So why are you interested in foreign technologies? So who wants to take that question?
I can take it.
Yep.
I can start. We are interested in all good solutions, and we are not narrowing it down to a specific country that we are seeking solutions. We are interested in getting great innovative solutions for this challenge, and it's important to reach out for international competition in this kind of initiatives.
Okay. So the next question is on the energy management system. So some energy management systems can be very computational expensive by using some model predictive control, and others are very simple, more rule-based. So the more computational expensive require more performance, but require also more energy. So is there a preference to one of the two, or are you open to all type of proposals?
I can start to answer that because we want to have a robust system that is not too complicated to be used, because if it's too complicated, it will not be used, and then it's a waste.
Yeah, and I can add to that. I would agree with Per, but also the existing system that is in place at Uppsala is a rule-based system. So we are hoping for something a bit more advanced, actually, but also keep in mind that to keep the cost down and also to make it easy to use and understandable for the people and users who are owning this system.
Okay. So then on the controlling part, so is the infrastructure to switch devices on and off already in place? And if yes, which hardware and software is there?
I can start there as well. There is not so much devices that are prepared to switch on and off. We have the most use of electrical energy in the buildings are for lighting and for fans for ventilation and in some extent to maintain pumping around water for heating. And they are mostly needed as to be in use when there is a need for it, because you cannot delay too much. You cannot have too much variation in temperature, and you cannot have the lights going on during daytime when it's not needed. That's a waste as well. So we have a little bit lack of shifting in time the consumption of electricity, but there are some possibilities, and it could be arranged with having steering signals from the system to switch on and switch off some equipment, but not so much.
Simon, something to add on that one?
Yeah, and the situation is quite similar. Yeah, the situation is quite similar in Uppsala as well. There's no system in place to control the electricity use in the building right now, but we can see that some installations could be operated with rule-based from production side. One example could be heat pumps, which are installed at Uppsala, which could switch off for a couple of minutes or a longer period of time also.
I can add as well that we have some kitchen for cooking, and they have freezers and that kind of freezing and cooling, and they can be run a little bit lower to temperature, especially the freezer, if you have a surplus of energy, but you cannot go too far because then it's come other problems. But there we have some opportunity to shift in time.
Okay. So then the question is, so the proposals, do they have to be hardware proposals or software only, or a combination of hardware and software?
I want to have a system that is a combination of hardware and software, because the hardware thing is probably the most easiest, but it's controlling it and to have this different. If you have different needs, to have it easily configured. For example, we want to have some an energy storage that could have say 30% left over before you don't drain it completely, because you want to have a part of this available if there is an outage of energy supply to the building, so we can have the lights going on for emergency lighting and that kind of stuff, and alarm systems and so on.
So, but a software-only solution?
Yes, I can add something.
Please.
Yeah, for us, because there is existing battery storage at Uppsala, and there could be both a software and a hardware solution, but there is some existing infrastructures which could make it possible to only do a software suggestion as well. But so we're kind of open for everything here.
Okay, good. Another question is, so are you really looking for intelligent energy management or intelligent electricity management? So energy versus electricity.
Our focus in Eskiltuna is the managing the electricity energy in an intelligent way. It could be some parts of the system be involving even the energy system in total, because one opportunity to shift in time is to heat water. If you have a surplus of electrical energy, but that's not so good in our system, a big system in Eskiltuna municipality, because we have district heating that is run by bioenergy for 99.7%. So we want to use that for the thermal energy supply in the systems, not using electricity for heating water and heating rooms and so on. But if there is nothing left, that could be a possibility. But then also you have to build the infrastructure to take care of that inside buildings, which we don't have today, because we don't have big tanks with water to have a buffer energy storage of thermal energy. So it will be too much investments if we take that in as a part of the solution. Thank you.
Yes, and I can add as well. In Uppsala, and this case in the real estate Uppsala, the buildings aren't connected to the central heating, so it's all electricity there, and electricity is also being used for heating the buildings.
Okay. So, do you intend to enter the local grid market to sell or buy the energy, the electricity you stored, or the surplus of energy?
If I start there, I can announce that for the moment the regulations in Sweden are in such way that we are not prohibited to do that, because we cannot be a energy producer for the open grid. So that is implications of a tax system and also regulations. We have a question earlier in this session where if you could shift energy into another building. We are also prohibited in Sweden due to the system of the grid owners, the grid suppliers. They have a monopoly situation in the district. So if we go outside a building, we are competing with them that we're not allowed to. So for the moment, no, we're not selling anything.
Simon, the same applies for you? Something to add? No, apparently not. Okay, we also mentioned a question about foreign proposals. So are non-European suppliers at a disadvantage due to the distance?
Sorry?
So are non-European suppliers at a disadvantage due to the distance? To Sweden?
I don't see that there are any problems with having not from Sweden. I'm not really catching the meaning of the question.
So you are open to international proposals coming from outside Sweden. So the question is, suppose you get a proposal from an organization in America or in Asia, will they be at a disadvantage due to the distance, or it doesn't really matter to you where the proposal is coming from?
Well,
I can try
yeah.
if it's okay. No, they will not be at a disadvantage, and maybe it is an open competition, and we welcome international proposals. And maybe if the distance is a problem in some way, I think that is more due to how we can communicate or how we can meet, and I think that wouldn't be a hinder. But for the solution in itself, I don't see any problem.
Okay.
I can add that there could be a problem if they have hardware that is not on Swedish standards, as if it's from United States with 60 hertz of DC, AC system and that kind of stuff, or different connectors and that kind of stuff. But that's all I can see as a problem, and also I agree with a lot. It's easier if one are close, you can meet person to person. But if you can communicate with these good systems today, that could be manageable.
Okay. So a question related to this. So if an organization is selected for the pilot project, is it necessary to be present in Sweden from 2016 to 2020, or is it enough to supply the products required?
I think that it could be good to have a partner in Sweden to cooperate with in such a case. So the entrepreneurs and the company that we have that manage our buildings have a partner they can talk to more on a day-to-day basis when it comes to maintenance the systems. So I think that could be an advantage if they plan for that, if it's possible to find a partner in Sweden.
Yeah. So are UPS systems already in use in the different municipalities, so in the different buildings, for instance, in the school project?
Can you repeat it once more?
So are UPS is already in use in the projects presented?
They are in use in the school in a very low, not so big installation. They are bigger, more frequent in use in elderly care systems, elderly care buildings, and the fire brigade building. But they could be in use for even in school systems.
Okay. Can you give an indication of the peak load? So roughly, give an indication of that. The peak consumption, power consumption load.
It differs a lot. Which time of year is in the minimum peak for summer, or is it in winter? It's still very different.
So just a rough indication. Can you give just a ballpark? Just to get roughly an idea. Is it possible, or do you want to look it up and we put it on the forum?
I'm looking up at the moment, so if someone else can step in and.
Yeah, I can just talk about how it is in Uppsala. The data that we have from the DSO doesn't allow us to see the specific power peaks, but so it's we don't have the information about that today. We can only see shifting energy on the hourly basis, so we don't know what happens on a more detailed level than that.
Okay. So can you share more information on the energy storage capacity that is currently installed in the two municipalities?
Yeah, sure. I can start. So in this case, the case project, that's just a part of the municipality. There's an energy storage capacity of 20 kilowatt hours that is currently being used. So there's probably a lot more in the rest of the municipality, but I don't know the data from that.
And in Eskiltuna, we have no storage at all for the moment. We have up to 20, a bit over 20 installations of solar power, and perhaps 20 or 30% of them have a significant surplus of energy production.
Okay. So are you also open to proposals from students from institutions to take part in the contest?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, everything is interesting if they have good solutions. But one of the key, what we are requesting that we should have a pilot installation in 2016, so it's not just ideas that we want.
Yeah, but it could be a software-only solution coming from a university,
Yeah.
as long as it can be piloted or demonstrated. That's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So on the energy management system, are you looking for a fully automated or a semi-automated system?
I can answer that. I think during production time it should be fully automated, but it should be possible to rearrange, to make different prioritizations for the systems during it's when we have installed and would have been for run for a couple of months. You see, I know we want to do this way instead. Then it should be possible to do that. But during when you should not have a person looking over this system all day to have it run smoothly.
Yeah,
because we don't have the people available for doing this. That's kind of operation.
Yeah, I agree with her, but also if there is some like manual aspects of operating the system, they need to be really easy for the users.
I can also add that there should be thresholds and alarm systems connected to this, so it could be the operators can act if there is some problems or some thresholds that have been passed, so they can that is kind of a semi-automatic system maintenance. In that kind, it could be not fully automated.
Okay, so I have a question about simulation-based demonstration. So since not all the equipment can be switched on off, are simulation-based demonstration allowed? So where the performance of such a switch system is demonstrated with a simulation, and if so, is there an energy model of the buildings available to be used for this, which could be an Energy Plus, a TRNSys model, or something like that?
I'm not sure of that. That I had to come back if it's possible to have look into that, because I cannot answer that for the moment.
Okay.
And for a general answer, maybe I can try. Simulation can be okay in the early stage of maybe when the winners or the finalists are presenting their solutions, but we are looking for live projects for the pilot project. So maybe that is a help, and I agree with Per. We can come back with that answer to that question.
Okay. So also from a couple of from a research institution. So are you looking for a business-based solution or a research-based solution? So in other words, if a University of Research Center comes up with a proposal, will it be penalized with respect to an industrial proposal?
No, I don't think so, if I understand the question right. But you have to be able to conduct a pilot project and also be able to submit the proposal in a procurement that the municipalities or other sponsors could invest in.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is an answer to the question, or if I got it wrong, we will answer it later.
I agree with that. I'm not fully with the understand the question perhaps, but it should be possible to buy it. We don't have a project or a research agenda in the municipality, because we are putting investments into our buildings, and they should be able to be as a business model.
Okay.
Raphael, we're approaching the end of our time today. I think we have time for maybe just one or two more brief questions, if you could.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to say that we're going to answer it on the website. So there's a respondent wanting some additional information on the buildings A and B, loads, the green ratios, and so on, to understand the problem in more detail and to propose a solution which is more efficiently. It's an excellent question. I think we will answer this on the forum, because that's the place to answer this question. Last question I'd like to ask. So the proposals should include the details about both the hardware and the software. Is that correct?
Okay, this is Charlotte trying to answer. I think you have to have a holistic approach to your solution, and since some of the municipalities have storage and some doesn't, at least you have to address the questions, how to solve it. So it's not a must either or.
Okay. So I also have another question on the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, to understand, to get more information what is exactly contained in those systems. We will address those questions on the forum. So I think I've covered most of the questions. Maybe I forgot to mention one or two, but we will address all the questions in the forum.
Great, thank you, Raphael. And thank you to all of our attendees for submitting all of those interesting questions. And as Raphael just mentioned, if we weren't able to get to any of your questions during today's Q&A session, we will transcribe and post the questions online at a later date. Thank you also to all of our panelists from Eskiltuna and Uppsala, and of course, Charlotte from the Swedish Energy Agency for taking the time today to answer questions. So, to our attendees, what can you do today? First, you can visit the website listed there on your screen. There you can find more information about this Intelligent Energy Management Contest. You can visit the Challenge Forum. You can register to receive updates about the forum. I would also like to highlight the submission deadline is February 2nd of 2016 at 5 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Please make sure to get your submissions in before that 5 p.m. deadline. As Raphael mentioned a few times during today's webinar, that is a hard deadline. We won't be able to accept submit after that time. I will go ahead and begin to wrap up today's webinar. Thank you all for attending. If you have any additional if you would like any additional information, we encourage you to visit the contest site where you can register and participate in the forum. If you have any additional questions, we strongly encourage you to submit your questions to the provider help desk. When you visit the contest page, you can find the email address and phone number for the provider help desk, and we will do our best to get you the answers that you are seeking as promptly as possible. One last time, the submission deadline is February 2nd, 2016 at 5 p.m. We'd like to reiterate one more time that this webinar was recorded and will be transcribed and posted online at a later date. Thank you once again to all of our attendees for listening. Thank you once again to all of our panelists for participating today. We appreciate the time that you all took to be with us today. Thank you very much, and we look forward to reading your submissions. Thanks once again.